a comparison of education at secondary schools and centres for lifelong learning in the Czech Republic and Italy, the project called A Comparison of Education at Secondary Schools and Centres for Lifelong Learning in the Czech Republic and Italy aims at the issue of secondary education and lifelong learning in both countries. The coordinator of this project is the Pardubice region and the partner is the province of Brindisi. The aim of the project is to acquaint each other with the scope of curriculums and their implementation in secondary general and vocational education, higher vocational education and during work placements. The Czech and Italian parties compare the forms, tools and methods of education, assessment systems, admission policies and ways of completing studies. Another area of interest of this project is the activities of centres for lifelong learning in both countries. The Italian delegation spent the first day of their visit at the secondary school Gymnasium Mozartova in Pardubice.
Italové dnes se ve škole mohou podívat na semináře z cizích.
Today the Italians can attend seminars of foreign languages at our school. They can choose from English, German, French or Russian. As there are teachers of mathematics and physics in the delegation, they also attend regular classes of mathematics. During the classes, the Italian teachers showed an active interest in teaching methods and the technical equipment of the school.
Intanto devo dire che è una ottima scuola, si vede non soltanto dalla struttura nel suo insieme.
I think that it is a good school, not only the structure of this building, but mainly the way how students follow their classes and prepare for them. I like the flexibility of the school, which is able to tailor the school's education plan to the needs of the students. In many regards, this school is similar to ours. In my opinion, we should cooperate closely in order to prepare our students for a better future.
Aiutarci a organizzare una scuola sempre più all'avanguardia e all'altezza dei tempi.
I have noticed that there are smaller groups of about 15 students for classes, which is convenient for teachers. This way they can work with their students better. In Italy, in order to save money, these small groups are combined, which does not prove effective in terms of education. I also appreciate the warm welcome and the fact that the students cooperated with us during classes. I am very glad about that. The Italian delegation also had a chance to visit the graduation ball of Gymnasium Mozartova. The ball took place in the Idiom Centre in Pardubice, and it pleasantly lightened the working visit of the Italian representatives of the school sector. During their visit to the regional authority of the Pardubice region, the Italian delegation learnt about the activities of the regional self-government and the regional authority, the educational system in the Czech Republic, as well as the structure of educational facilities in the Pardubice region.
La cosa più importante che ho avuto modo di recepire è stata l'attenzione che
The most important thing I have noticed is the great attention that the local council devotes to education. I was deeply impressed by the will and determination with which the councillors of this region face the current economic problems. I would be very happy if our cooperation could continue. My thanks also goes to our director, Mr. Carone, who has initiated this cooperation.
con un'altra realtà. Solo in questo modo si può cooperare realmente.
Italy is one of the countries which we so far do not cooperate with. We have run the first project. It is aimed at broadening a slightly different scope, and that is, in my opinion, very especially important for teachers. They rarely have the opportunity to go abroad and thus lose the chance to compare the systems. And what has been the most interesting thing for us? The fact that Italians are worried about the level of education and the level of mathematics just as we are. You could say that it is a worldwide problem. What I have also found interesting is that their classes are rather plain and impersonal. Nevertheless, our guests find them perfectly satisfactory. Sometimes we may not be modest enough to appreciate what we have. Another school which the Italian delegation has visited within the framework of the Comenius Regio partnership was the Secondary School of Agriculture and Higher Vocational School in Crudym. After an official welcome, the Italians learned about the education and organisational structure of the school and had a look at the school farm in Vestec. We have shown our visitors from Italy all the facilities for practical classes of agricultural courses, namely the piggery where all categories of pigs are represented. Now we are at a place where the cattle are housed and we are going to show them sheep and horse breeding facilities. The School of Agriculture in Crudym was founded in 1862 and it is the second oldest agricultural school in the Czech Republic. Thanks to its educational activities, it has established a highly regarded tradition of agricultural education, which was greatly appreciated by the Italian delegation. Within the project, both the Czech and the Italian party mutually compare the forms, means and methods of education in both countries. The Czech teachers have already completed the programme at schools and school facilities in Brindisi province, Italy. And during the visit of the Italian delegation in the Czech Republic in April 2013, they reflected on differences between the school systems of both countries.
Ten systém školství je trochu jiný než u nás.
The school system differs a little bit from the one in this country. I am the teacher of history and social science. We were gripped by the emphasis on classical subjects that ceased to be here a long time ago. It includes Latin, Greek, philosophy, etc. In Italy, cohesion with placement of the students in the market seems to be absolutely essential. It is obvious that in Brindisi region, they cope with 25% unemployment. So even in those discussions in Italy, the Italian colleagues accentuated the very placement of graduates in real life.
Kladli naši italští partneři velký důraz právě na uplatnění absolventů škol potom konkrétně v praxi.
As to the whole unit, the education system in general, I can see no big differences here. The systems are quite similar. The only difference I can see specifically at this school is that the Czech school lays greater emphasis on preparation for academic career. It is the emphasis on this education, on this long-term process from the beginning to the end, which makes it significantly different from our school system. At the grammar school at Mozartova Street in Pardubice, the Italian delegation took a view of both laboratory rooms and ordinary classroom. They also viewed the school canteen and coat rooms, which are unknown to the Italian teachers. The most important event of the visit was the presence of the Italian teachers directly at the classes.
I just told the lady that the teacher that had the lesson that I'm very happy to see that her lesson and my lesson have many similarities. I would have taught in the same way the subjects that she taught. She has just taught her students, and I noticed that I keep the lesson in the same way. That is, speaking to students and making them feel very easygoing, and the pronunciation. The stress on vocabulary is very important, and it's the same as I usually do with my students. And even how the lesson flows is very similar to my own lesson. So I think that from this point of view, there are a lot of things in common, and I enjoyed the lesson very much, and I congratulated with my colleague.
Another area of interest of this project is the activity of all life education centres in both countries. Therefore, the Italian delegation visited the regional office of the National Institute for Further Education in Pardubice.
Bychom chtěli především představit tedy práci naší organizace, to znamená naší organizace.
First of all, we would like to introduce to them the work of our organisation, specifically the work of the Pardubice office of the National Institute for Further Education. Our organisation primarily deals with further education of educationalists. We would like to take the Italian visitors directly to the classes. A qualification study programme for school headmasters takes place here today. It is a statutory study programme which has to be completed by all who wish to be a school headmaster. We wish the Italian teachers to have a discussion with these teachers.
Účastníky vlastně našich kurzů, který jsou v tomto případě ředitelé škol nebo budoucí ředitelé škol.
The Italian teachers engaged in the discussion in an active way. They were most interested in the career progress of the Czech teachers.
Nejvíce zajímali o kariérní systém, což je teda věc.
They were really interested in most of the career progress of the Czech teachers, which is a thing that, basically, is not quite followed through in this country. And one of the European projects, in which we are a partner, deals with setting the career progress of the teachers. Therefore, we were able to present to our Italian visitors only the visions we would like to achieve. The outcome will depend just on the above-mentioned project.
Chtěli docílit, protože to, jak to dopadne, to bude záležet právě na výsledcích toho projektu.
In terms of the Comenius Regio partnership, the Italian delegation this time also got acquainted with the classes and organisation of the Agricultural School and College Crudin.
Prošli jsme kmenové učebny, odborné učebny.
We walked through both ordinary classrooms and laboratories. The guests from Italy also visited the classes, and the view of the school farm will follow. There are definitely some observations from the visit. The Italian visitors were highly interested, for example, in equipment of IT
Mě
rooms.
překvapilo, že to máme takto vybavené pro potřeby jak žáků, tak i učitelů.
The Italian delegation also had a discussion about the Italian classes with the third grade students.
Přednáška mě určitě zaujala.
I was definitely gripped by the lecture. The most interesting thing was that at the Italian school they have little animal production and they prefer plant production, olives, etc.
Ty olivy mají to trošku.
It is very different from the situation here, the school equipment. But what I like about our school is that we have animals here. Both the Italian and the Czech teachers evaluated the project in terms of Comenius Regio partnership as meaningful.
Tanto perché avvicina dei popoli.
I would definitely emphasise the positives of this project and its meaningfulness. Specifically, I would like to emphasise again the opportunity to get to know each other better, not only on the personal level, but that we can also learn about the way of life, way of thinking, and generally the way in which school education takes place here and what is the background on which it develops. If we get to know each other better and give the same opportunity to our children, then we will certainly fight also against the prejudices that still exist in the society in respect of certain nations. If there are still certain mind barriers, only projects like this can help us overcome them. This is where I can see the biggest value of this project. This way we can become closer, get to know and understand each other better, and develop this partnership. It is decisively positive that we can sit together only over the school system, but we can also have a look at the way in which the regions of administrative units work in your country and this country. We make efforts to draw from this information the aspects that would be beneficial and applicable to our school system.
Per i popoli e creare un mondo pacifico migliore.
Zcela určitě tyto projekty.
These projects are certainly beneficial, mainly because the participants will get to know the way it works elsewhere. They naturally have the opportunity to obtain experience and really come to know something they might have only read and heard about. They can see it in the natural environment, which is very inspirational.
A určitě to je v mnohých případech inspirativní.
This project has been funded with support from the European Commission. This communication reflects the views only of the author, and the Commission cannot be held responsible for any use which may be made of the information contained therein.